Bears open at plus 7.5 against the Browns. Andy Dalton is definitely going to miss this game. He has a bone bruise. That's probably going to keep him out multiple weeks. So Justin Fields, it's your time to shine. He didn't look great last week in filling in for Andy Dalton. The Browns, we know how good that defense is. We know that this is going to be a home game for them. Some notable Browns storylines. Jarvis Landry is hurt, MCL sprain, but OBJ might be back. Well, at least it's seeming like he's back because the Browns didn't place him on the short-term IR, knowing that he should be back for week 3. He posted a hype video on his YouTube channel. So by all indications, he should be out there. I think one thing that's going to be tough for the Browns is without Jarvis Landry there, that secure pass catcher, and an OBJ coming off of injury, I think this Bears defense can give them a little bit more problems and make things tough for Baker Mayfield. They did have 3 interceptions in the game last week against Joe Burrow and Cincinnati Bengals. Jalen Johnson is starting to look like a lockdown corner for them. And against Houston, that wasn't a runaway game like it should have been for the Browns. They had multiple catches of over 20 yards. So this defense does allow the occasional big play. With the points, the Bears at 7.5, I don't think is that crazy. Overall for the game, I will take the Browns just because a rookie quarterback in his first start on the road, not a great environment. And I don't think that Matt Nagy could get creative enough for the play calling to make this work. So I'm going to take the Browns, but the Bears with the points does intrigue me.
What's interesting about the Browns offense this year is that they can do this like swapping between like 1 week it's Odell and 1 week it's Jarvis playing and still be fine because their offense is probably the least reliant on wide receivers of any in the NFL. One, they run 2-back sets a lot, which they have the personnel to do it. So Stefanski can do it more than other teams would, where you line Kareem Hunt in the slot, or, Nick Chubb can have limited carries. I think he's only touched the ball 11 times in the Texans game. I think he had 11 carries against the Texans. So if you want to limit Nick Chubb that way, it's one way to go about it. You're going to anger some fantasy football people. But even without Jarvis Landry, if you get back Odell Beckham, it's good enough. Their offense should be good enough. They run 2 tight end sets a lot. Cleveland kind of wowed us in that first half against the Chiefs. And then after that, they've kind of just been the Browns, like the team that we thought they were going to be coming into the season. At least most of us thought, wild card team, 5-6 seed. Baltimore is going to be a little more flashy. Maybe they'll split a season series against them, but Cleveland's look kind of like the team they were last year outside of those like 2 quarters against the Chiefs where, their offense clicked all together. I didn't think we'd talk so much about the Bengals this week, but the Bears did great against the Bengals offense last week. I know Jamar Chase had that one big touchdown against the retooled Bears secondary, which is mostly just replacing Kyle Fuller with Jalen Johnson, like you said. And they looked really good. I never realized how Roquan Smith is fast. I never realized that until he was running back that pick 6. I'm like, oh my Lord.
He was a dream for me on his draft day for the Niners. I was like, Roquan Smith would be pretty nice. And he hasn't disappointed in the NFL. I think he's among that elite tier of linebackers when we're talking about top 10 linebackers, maybe even top 5. It does get a little bit competitive once you start getting into that range.
Yeah, I've never paid close enough attention to Roquan Smith. Like outside of that, they've kind of been the same version of themselves. Like Khalil Mack's going to be really good. Roquan's going to be the other guy on the edge. Hicks in the middle is going to be a borderline Hall of Famer that no one talks about. And then you're going to have some names in the secondary. Eddie Jackson's going to be a pretty good safety. So they've kind of been in that like 7-8 range ever since, but I've never paid close enough attention until seeing him run back a pick 6 to realize, oh, Roquan Smith is really good at linebacker. So to your point, I will take Cleveland. I actually feel really good about Cleveland covering the point spread. And that's not to disrespect, Justin Fields. Like it's just similar situation what happened with the Rams in week 1. You're going up against one of the better defensive units in the NFL. They've got a lockdown corner, maybe not as locked down as Jalen Ramsey, but Denzel Ward is really, really good at cornerback. Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, obviously pass rushing, similar to the Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd tandem of the Los Angeles Rams. I think Leonard Floyd is the second best guy there. So I like Cleveland to win, and probably by 2 touchdowns. I think you said the point spread was 7.5. So I actually like Cleveland and the points in this game, which doesn't necessarily mean Justin Fields is going to play bad. It just means that Cleveland is going to play very well in this game.
I think a good key for the Bears to win this game or be competitive in this game is to implement a lot of the stuff that we've seen in recent years from quarterbacks with Justin Fields' skill set, that mobile run option type of game. Because with a team with a prolific pass rush like the Browns have, that could cause a lot of problems on the outside for someone like a Myles Garrett who has to decide to take the back or take out Justin Fields. I think that would give them at least an opportunity to win this game. We'll see if they can compete.